Welcome to episode 180 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're going to be recapping UFC 305, headlined by Dricus du Plessis and Israel Adesanya fighting for the middleweight strap. Man, how you doing this evening, man?
I'm good. Got to watch the 185 title go down last night. We're almost
Yes,
there,
sir.
almost to the middle weight of episodes. Actually, you know what? I said I'm good. I'm lying to you. I didn't cash one bet last night. The one bet that I had, like, single fight boiled down, Jack Jenkins over 1.5, Jack Jenkins TKO, I fucking nailed that, hammered that. Should have bet that shit with all the money I had, all my 10 units. Instead, I bet the 10 units in 8 different bets, and I cashed not one of them. So, shout out to me. I fucking suck. I didn't know this card at all. Everything was apparently a surprise to the way I envisioned it. And I'm just very sad. This card made me very sad. It was a great card. Very sad by the results.
No, I feel, I was 0 for 7 on my tickets. Granted, there were like legs of parlays and stuff, but we
Bro,
also,
no, we
we
also went
also
0
had,
for 4. I went 0 for 4 on a parlay. Like, you know how fucking bad that feels to get all 4 wrong? That's just as hard as getting all 4 right.
no, I feel it, bro. Like, I literally, like, it did steam. Well, I had an 0 for 3 parlay, and, like, exactly, it is never go over.
Bro, like,
We're the king of missing by one.
I feel like a total jackass today. Like, there's a lot of bets I went over on. Like, there's only a
Yeah,
couple bets I hit legs.
I feel it. It was a rough night at the books for your
And
boys.
and to compound it, I'm sitting here watching Hey Jive picks and fucking Matty Betts crush on absolute what I thought were dog shit bets, and they're cleaning casinos out with my money because I understand how sports gambling works. They're not winning the casino's money; they're winning my money because I lost.
Well, if you're watching this, you can actually win, unlike us last night. We got a JDM. I don't know if you can see that JDM rookie card, um, Panini Prism, Jack Della Maddalena rookie card that you can win for free. All you got to do is hit subscribe and then also follow us on X at Beefy Breakdown, not Beefy Boys Breakdown, at Beefy Breakdown on X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And that's mainly because that's where you're going to DM your proof. Like send a screenshot that you sub to the YouTube and follow us on X. And obviously your mailing address so I can get you this bad boy. But yeah, free JDM rookie card. To whoever does it first come, first serve. So get that JDM rookie card, possible future champ, like outside of Shavkat, probably the
Right?
hottest rookie card in the welterweight division that you could have. So
Like
yeah,
2 years ago, you would have said Shavkat was the dark horse welterweight. Now it's JDM because Shavkat's in the light. So get your hands on it right now while it's free. While it's for you just being a bonus subscriber, we appreciate the views, the love, the likes, but more importantly, this man's active on X. As soon as you DM, he's going to respond. He's going to be live tweeting the fights. We're super live on
oh
X.
yeah,
Give us a follow on X anyway. I mean, even if you're
yeah,
not the guy that wins the subscription, still DM us. You know what I'm saying? We might got other cards. We might got other interactions.
or just interact with us on X. We fire off the spicy takes. I like to give. I let you know what bets we cash, what bets we don't cash, and
That's going to be
yeah,
this
and
week.
just
That's going to be a lot of this week.
a little trolling, a little having a good time, a little shit talking. That's what X is for. So yeah, interact with us on there at BP Breakdown. But we're kind of beating around the bush because I don't think either of us are super juiced to talk about Dricus beating our boy Izzy. But that's what happened last night, folks. No, I gotta
Ah, fuck.
say, and
Ah.
man, something I was on the tail of the tape that I should have been more dialed into, and I think we had it on our betting show, but it just didn't really hit me that Izzy was 35 now, and it's like, especially knowing what
Ah.
I know this morning, like Izzy 35 back-to-back L's, like it's just like God damn it, I've seen this movie before.
You know what? I don't know. I still liked the bet. I still liked it. Like that fight. I mean, let's go round by round because it's a super interesting fight. The finish is shocking, in my opinion. Shocking.
Yeah, coming into it, but it finished at a coin flip. Izzy Adesanya minus 110. We got him at minus 115. Dricus minus 110. We also each had an Izzy by KO ticket at plus 275. Like Harrison was saying, I honestly no regrets on that. Like that could have I don't want to say that could have easily happened, but like that was like on the table. Like he was landing some clean shots.
I mean, to be quite honest, like going into the final round of the fight, which would be round 4 in this case, I felt great about it. Like after round
Yeah.
3, I was like, "Oh, Izzy's got the timing. Drickus is walking into hard counter shots. Like here we go. The damage is building. This is what I need to see."
I thought it might have even came from a body shot. In round 3, he was ripping to the body
The
so
right
clear.
hands to the body were crazy.
Yeah, they were nice. They were nice. I think like 2 and 3 have a clear winner, and I haven't seen the official scorecard, so maybe I'm wrong on that. I've been wrong on that before, but in my opinion, round 2 and 3 had a clear winner. But round 1, I thought was a little murky. Kind of beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Drinkus landed a lot of leg kicks. He did win some of the exchanges, but Izzy was stuffing the takedown. Yeah, he had the significant strike numbers on his side, what the judges aren't privy to, but I was, and he cut Drinkus with the knee, and I gotta admit, bro, like I was dialed in, but like that missed me. I missed that, or like that's what the broadcast said, because Drinkus did have a little cut, and I didn't remember.
No,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. My reaction was not to you saying that. I just saw the official scorecards and I am shocked by what I'm reading.
Yeah.
Shocked.
So,
and also, for some reason, it's in Portuguese. Why the fuck this is in Portuguese? I'll never know. Shout out UFCnews.com.
Well, so short story long, I gave round 1 to Izzy. How'd you see it?
I did too. Super close round, I thought. I mean, intensely close, to be quite honest, because like the way Izzy moved, it looked like Drickus' strikes were almost more valuable, but I thought Izzy was more active, and I liked the work he was putting in, and I also was like, I was closely watching, right? Like, I was very invested in this fight. He was rolling a lot of Drickus' shots. Drickus wasn't really connecting too clean very often. Very few and far between. I liked Izzy. Close round, 10-9.
Me too. And Izzy's takedown defense being on point in round 1.
Two judges agree with us. Ben Cartlidge, David Lethaby, both of the Vegas judges. Charlie Keach, the Australian judge, scored it to Du Plessis.
We'll see a scorecard on this recap that's egregious, so I won't use that word. Like, I can see how you arrived there, and I'm glad it's 2 to Izzy, 1 to Drickus. I'm kind of cool with that. Like, if it would have been 2 to Drickus, 1 to Izzy, but...
I'm not going to lie, bro. The scorecards were unacceptable last night for a lot of rounds. Not specifically overall scorecards, but specific rounds. There were rounds where it was like... And 2 out of 3 judges might have leaned that way. Not in the case you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. But, like, there's a couple fights that I'll bring up where I'm like, there's no way, based on the way they scored other rounds, that they could score this round this way.
No, for sure. But I'm saying, I guess... to keep it on this one, though, like this wasn't one of those. One judge giving around to Drickus is like fully inbounds.
Sure, but that's going to come up in this fight too. Let's keep going. Let's get to round 2. Because I think round 2 has a clear winner, right? It's Drickus. I don't think it's even debatable.
I fully agree. I don't have the word close in my notes. 3 takedowns. And then it almost reminded me of kind of like Umar and Corey Sandhagen, where like Drickus was being so offensive that it was rendering Izzy defensive. Like even when, because I mean, Izzy got taken down 3 times, but he also had some success, but he was still being defensive.
Right. And even though Drickus didn't get a lot of damage off in his control with the takedowns, it was Izzy couldn't do anything but defensively try to reset position.
Yes, like I said, kind of reminds me of Umar Corey in that regard.
A lot. I agree with that.
And then Drickus did have the rear naked choke attempt, and I guess what I imagine you're about to tell me is that some judges gave 2 to Izzy.
Absolutely not. No. Round 2, all 3 judges go Drickus Du Plessis. I agree with that. So one judge has it 2018. Charlie Keach. The other 2 have it 1919. I also have it 1919. I did see it 2018 on the Twitter scorecards for Drickus, so I'm not like super mad about it. Like I think that's acceptable. Here's my problem. We push it to round 3. This is the clearest round for Izzy in the whole fight, and it's not debatable in my opinion. I think Izzy started to pull away in this round. The judge, one of the judges that scored round 1 for Izzy, scored round 3 for Drickus.
Yeah, that's
ludicrous. You can't do that. You can't do that. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. It ends up not mattering, but that's very bad.
And
that could have been.
And the judge that scored both the first 2 for Drickus scored 3 for Izzy.
Yeah, that to me makes sense. Like the logic train adds up there. Like yeah, different than my scorecard, but I don't hate it.
David Lethaby, 0 logic in getting to 29-28 Drickus. 0 logic.
No, because I mean, let's say why. I mean, Israel Adesanya kept it standing the entire round. Drickus got no takedowns. Like
And
he was attempting them.
he was feeding Drickus hard counters, and this is the round where the body shots started getting
Yes.
crazy. Like the right hands, Drickus would dive in and shell and extend his body, and Izzy would literally slide off to the right and just pump these hard uppercuts straight to the body.
Rip them. Yeah, you're a casual if you don't appreciate the damaging effects of those body punches.
Drickus didn't like him either.
Yeah, Drickus. Yeah, yep, 1,000% agree with you, brother. And I mean, for what it's worth, doubled him on the significant strike numbers. It was the widest margin for either guy on the significant strike numbers of any round.
And Izzy started. You could argue going forward, not really, but Drickus's forward movement started getting stagnated by the fact that he was eating counters every time, so he started to be more trepid about going in.
Izzy like peppered him up,
right?
Pieced him up, put the hands on him,
put the length on him. Was throwing knees every time Drickus would lean in, so Drickus had to start to lean back, and then was eating big jabs down the middle. I loved round 3 from Izzy. I had it 2-1 Izzy. I had round 1 to him. So close fight, obviously, and I fully was okay with it being 29-28 Drickus going into round 3 because as an Izzy better, this is what I saw as the fight. Drickus slowing down. Drickus starting to walk into counters. Drickus being more afraid to throw his own punches, kind of shutting down his own offense. I thought this was going swimmingly for me. Now, we get to round 3. I have some...
round 4?
Round 4, yeah. Round 4. I have some takes about this round and the sequence that finishes the fight. But honestly, I do think Drickus did enough to win. I mean, obviously choked him out, but like... You could say that, here's what I'm saying is, you could say that the knockdown is lucky because he hits the 4-punch combo, but steps on his foot. Izzy falls not because he gets knocked down, because he can't slide because he gets his foot stepped on. However, technically, that's the perfect thing to do. Like, you're trying to, like, step literally on your opponent's, like, pinky toe as a striker. So for him to be a little bit over to the right and be on his foot was actually the best thing he could have done.
Yeah, I mean, and then he capitalized on it, right? And took the position. Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, for Drickus to get the wild grappling scramble sequences, those are where he was going to be successful in this fight because that's where Izzy is not good, is grappling scrambles. So
yeah, you know what it kind of reminds me of is Grasso Shevchenko, and I didn't think that was fluky either. Like she saw something and then took advantage of it in the moment.
Like this doesn't. That's why I didn't say the word fluke. It just feels like almost like it was meant to happen. If that makes sense. Like it's so lucky that he steps on his foot, and that's what puts Izzy to the floor. It's not the power of the shots because, like I said in the breakdown, he's not going to drop Izzy with shots, and he didn't.
Yeah,
he dropped him by stepping on his foot. It was crazy.
See, I'll go the complete. Like, I don't disagree with your point. I just have a different interpretation of it. You used the word like meant to happen, and I'll go the complete opposite way and say totally random. But totally random stuff happens in an MMA fight, and your ability to like capitalize on it's like getting a weird bounce in football. Like sports. Like, things happen. The ball bounces a certain way.
I was just about to say there's a climactic beauty to how I said it was meant to be and how you said it was totally random. Like, those two things are coincidental. You know what I mean? Like, in that one instance, like, both are true.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. Like I said, just, different kind of interpretations. Glass half full, glass half empty. But
literally, it's awesome. That's like the yin and yang of the situation.
Beefy Boys philosophy breakdown, baby. That's what we do. And but yeah, I mean, like I said, kind of serendipitous, if you will. I mean, everybody's been saying the same thing on X, on these podcasts, and I don't even know if I have an answer for it. Everybody keeps saying this question, like, how does Drickus, like, you see it worded a few different ways, but I feel like it's getting the same ideas across. Like, how does Drickus, like, keep edging out these close fights? Or you'll hear people say, like, how is Drickus guys that he's not better than, or like you'll hear people say like, how is his awkwardness working? Like I think these are all basically trying to convey the same general idea, and I would love to as a UFC podcast host to sit up here and tell you that I got all the answers. I'm kind of asking myself these same questions, and everybody is. Chael is like, and nobody's like super sure. Luke Thomas is trying to act like he's sure, but I think it's like some revisionist history going on, and Luke Thomas is kind of recap like. Luke Thomas is trying
Kind
to
of
make
out
it
on Luke
seem.
Thomas, if I'm being honest. I'm kind of out on him. In the last like
Well,
8 months, he's kind of lost me. I hate to say it.
well, and like we both use words like serendipitous and random, and and he's like, no, this is part of the beauty of Drinkis' style. And I was just like, all right, you got to chalk a little bit. Like even in football, we like I think that's why I don't have a problem saying like that's not a negative thing to say, and it's kind of serendipitous because like every Super Bowl champion in the history of Super Bowl champions, and probably the same could be said for NBA champions. Like a ball bounces in, like when Kawhi hit that shot and it bounced in,
Right.
like luck, serendipitous, whatever you want to call it, momentum. Like weird things happen in sports. It's part of sports. So to act like I don't know,
Well,
Luke Thomas trying to be like, oh no, this was all part of the master plan.
I
Like
think
Sandlot been planning it for months.
I think it's super revisionist to act like Sean Strickland didn't win their fight as well. You know what I mean? Like we can say it all worked out for Jinkis, but all of that is bent on a judge scoring that fight 29-28 or what is it, 48-47 for him that I disagree with. If that doesn't happen, we're not even talking about him right now. Like I think his grace of fortune is via the judge that scored that fight for him and no one else. Like everything else that's happened seems like it's meant to be. But that judge scoring that fight that way, that was the biggest godsend he's had in his career to this point.
and it almost makes me want to fade him in his next fight because it's like, how many
I
times is it going to land on red? You
That's
know what
how
I'm
I
saying?
feel. And it was and I do think like looking back at it, even as a bettor, I like Izzy still as -140, -150. Like I think he was fighting a better fight for the 15 minutes, and just got caught in a transition through 18 minutes.
I got one kind of final take to put a bow on it. At least, there's a lot. I mean, this was an important fight, man, for Drinkis' legacy, for the trajectory of Izzy's career. I mean, this was an important moment in
Yeah.
UFC middleweight
Kind of
history.
kind of a shitty
But
moment, and like the UFC didn't give Drinkis a bonus. I just want to touch on this. I think there's a
yeah,
reason for that. I think there's a reason for that. You know why?
Dana was salty that Izzy
He's
didn't get
so
the belt back.
fucking salty that Drick has kept this goddamn belt, and they got to go do an event in fucking Johannesburg. He's so fucking mad about that. He couldn't be more mad about that.
I thought the same thing when I saw Drinkis didn't get a bonus. I'm glad you brought that to the show. But one kind of final takeaway that I'll say that, like, we've used the word serendipitous, luck. There's a lot of things you can say. However, I'll say said that, like, Izzy's grappling was bad, but it's never really bitten him in the ass, largely because he hasn't fought a lot of grapplers. And, like, people love to throw out the Yoel Romero example. Yoel Romero was like already 40 when that fight took place. Like I think that has to be part of the narrative of that one.
Also, all the grapplers he's fought are mostly technicians. None of them are just bully grapplers. Like, Drick is just a bully grappler. Like, if it's there, he'll snatch it, but he's not going to force it. And he's not technically great.
Like, I know we've had these debates on the show, and so have other people. Like, what does, like, Hamzat versus Izzy or Bo Nickel versus Izzy look like? I think I'll say this, bro. Like, I think Izzy's grappling really did get exposed. Like, I mean, hell, I kind of remember when Alex Pereira took him down and held him down. Like I'll say that. That's the only part of this that wasn't serendipitous. Like, his grappling defense was like awful. Takedown defense, pretty good. Everybody knows that. But takedown defense and like submission defense and grappling defense, like keeping from advancing position, like the jiu-jitsu side of it, not the wrestling side, or more specifically the counter wrestling side that everybody loves to give him credit for and well-deserved credit. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but I'm saying like the actual like jiu-jitsu, gi jiu-jitsu or no gi jiu-jitsu technically, like it got exposed bad by Drinkis. Like there was zero submission defense. Really, I guess in the second round he submitted it, but in that actual finishing sequence, it was a quick tap. He didn't really fight the hands well. It wasn't even really under the chin. Drinkis wasn't even really in. I saw like a screenshot. He didn't even really have the hooks in. He had his feet crossed, which a good grappler can just roll around.
Right.
Like, I don't know. That was the disappointing part. That's where I'll say the serendipitous and the luck don't factor in. Is that like Izzy's lack of grappling finally came home to roost. Like, finally.
It's just so hard to get his back typically. Because better ground fighters have tried and not been able to. Like Jan, right? But they approach it systematically. And Izzy can technically slowly defend it, but in a transition, he's god-awful. Which makes sense. Like, he's just not used to the transitions. He's not fluid in them. He doesn't speak the grappling language. There is one thing I want to touch on before we keep pushing. I know we spent a lot of time on this, but we do
The
have to
main
talk
event,
about
Suis.
do have to talk about one thing, which is not necessarily what's next for Izzy. I don't necessarily care about that as much. There's two, and it's a guaranteed opponent situation for Strickland where we've been told Strickland gets his rematch with Duplessis. Duplessis, after the fight, Poetan said, I'm coming to 85. Duplessis said, don't worry about cutting the weight. You don't need an excuse to lose to me. I'll come to 205. Thoughts?
Gangster answer. Gangster answer. Love that.
If he goes to 205, he's getting shut the fuck down in 8 minutes or less. I'll bet my house on it.
Maybe, bro. I don't know. I also bet Izzy last night.
That Poetan left is different. Izzy
Fucking
landed good shots. Drickus has a good chin. That Poetan left is different.
bigger Poetan meat rider than the OnlyFans girl
At
that made the video.
205, at 205, Poetan left. Oh.
We got to think about Dricus at 205 though. Dricus cuts a fuck ton of weight.
I don't give
Like,
a fuck. Pereira's
I kind of
240.
do. I'll say this.
Pereira's
Maybe
bigger
this is
no
a
matter
hot
what.
This is a hot take. Maybe this is a hot take. Let me know. I like Duplessis' chances more than Ankalaev's chances. Is that a hot take? Am I being a mark? I do, and I'll stand on that. Like, I'll take Duplessis, and I'll even probably wager that the odds will be smaller.
No, I think Ankalaev's slightly more favorited, and also the odds would favor him as well. Let's see if there's future odds on it. Get our cake and eat it too. If you want to introduce the next fight, though, I am down to keep it.
Yeah. But I mean, and still, Dricus still knocks Duplessis.
Yeah,
beats Izzy, and then
I'm not salty.
Yeah, a lot of fights out there for Izzy, and there's a lot of winnable fights out there for Izzy, and I'm actually really glad he didn't retire. But we'll keep it pushing to the co-main event, the flyweight. You could argue kind of a number one contenders match just because of how weird this division is. Astro Boy Steve Erceg came in ranked 7. I thought he was higher than that. We got him at minus 170. He got bet all the way to minus 225. I also got Erceg by KO at plus 750, which once again, even with hindsight, no regrets. Like, that value was crazy. Like, I'll take that was worth the sprinkle all day, every day. But taking on Kai Kara France, I think plus 225 at finish, ranked number 4. And man, yeah, I was all over Erceg. We had him on our parlay. I said I had the Erceg by KO prop bet. I wasn't even nervous going into this one. I was so confident that Kara France was going to try to box with them and that Erceg had better boxing. And I was like very bullish in my take. I think it was 3, I think it was 4 stars for me. And I'll eat that. I'll own it. I'll say this is my takeaway from this Erceg Kara France fight, and it was a first round finish for Kara France. Well, there's not a lot of X's and O's to get to, but
right, true.
Steve Erceg, this is my takeaway, is the reason why our bets didn't cash. But it fooled Vegas too. Erceg had so much success offensively that we had never really had to see his chin or striking defense tested. Pantoja tested the grappling defense, and he passed basically with flying colors. We had never seen the chin or just overall striking boxing defense. We knew he has boxing offense. We had never really seen that chin tested, though. And that's something to keep in mind as a better moving forward is, like, have we seen this guy, especially, like, we know Kai Kara France can crack. And it's like, we got to think about as bettors, like, have we ever seen this guy, like, eat a shot? Can this guy eat a shot? Because with Erceg, I don't think we had really ever seen him eat a shot. We'd only seen him really kind of, we saw the grappling defense tested, but offensive, like, on striking-wise, it's been kind of one-way traffic for Erceg to this point of his career.
I don't know that I thought Kai Kara France was a good enough striker to catch Erceg, if I'm being honest. Like, the way I actually broke it down. Because I knew Kai Kara France had enough power to put out any flyweight. Like, he's kind of known for his power, so, like, that was, like, the thing we were betting against was Kai Kara France not being able to land that power. And I thought, like, against David Dvorak, against, like, Matt Schnell, against Pantoja even, like, I thought he had displayed enough chin, enough ability, enough, like, wherewithal to avoid those shots that I wasn't worried about him having to eat those shots. Like, I never considered that. Because I thought he'd get out of the way. And he fucking did not, man. Like, dude, the co-main and main event just like put me in a goddamn whirlpool, man. Like, I was swimming last night. I was drinking beers. I was watching Game of Thrones after. I was in a fucking place. All right, I fell asleep on the couch till 3:15 when Allie came and got me off of it. Just right there, just slumped face down. Okay, that's where I was at, getting blanked for the casino and watching all my favorite fighters die last night. Okay.
I know, bro. I had a tear or two in my beer as well, but Kai Car Friends get the performance of the night bonus left hook. I mean, absolutely sleeps Erceg. Just did not see that coming. I thought Erceg was going to be able to manage that distance way better against the shorter fighter. Now I gotta say, I got Steve Erceg power ranked 1.
I know you do.
I did formerly artist formerly known as 1 in my power ranking.
I had him 3, so it's not like much better, to be fair.
It had me in like an existential crisis trying to adjust my flyweight power rankings. Like I had a complete shakeup, bro. I dropped Erceg down to 6. I still have Pantoja at 1. I put Royval at 2, Moreno at 3, Kai Car France at 4, and Tatsuro Taira at 5. Because I've never seen Tatsuro Taira get fucking starched before.
I know. I'm this close to throwing all the coal I have in this room into the Taira wagon. I'm this fucking close. I'm not kidding.
He's our only hope, bro. I mean, granted, we do forget Moreno. I looked up last night when I was doing this research. Moreno's only 30 years old,
bro.
So like he's
Bazi's young as fuck. We just hate him.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Like, just if we're being fair, like he's young, he's great. We just hate him.
Man, flyweight's in a weird spot because Pantoja's I think 35, 36. You got Royval, who's like the definition, like the Colby Covington, always bridesmaid, never the bride, bro, right? Like
fuck raw dog shit, Royval.
You got Moreno, who's only 30, but has been through a million wars and seems to be kind of like entering the back end of his career, even though he's only 30.
Bro, you know what I think Moreno could do? If I'm being real, if Moreno's smart, he should put on 10 pounds and have a Max Holloway resurgence and just revitalize his career. I mean, maybe not even put it on the weight.
Davison Figueiredo for the 8th time at bantamweight.
I think he wins at bantamweight.
But yeah, you have this old guard and new guard, or like medium guard, because you have the real old guard with like Tim Elliott and fucking Tagir Ulanbekov and
those guys are dead in the water.
Those guys are done. Like Perez, you got Nicola, but then you got these young lions lurking in the back. You got Asu Almabayev, you got Rafael Filho, you got the undefeated Rafael Estevam, you got Charles Johnson on a resurgence, you got Alan Nascimento. I like those guys. I like a lot of those guys. Hyun-Sung Park, more in prospect mode, but he's lurking. You got undefeated Ray Saruya prospect mode, but still, I don't know, man. Flyweight's in a weird spot. I think no men's division is more up in the air than flyweight after last night. I thought Erceg was going to win. Clear rematch with Pantoja. Debatably won the first fight. Off and running off to the races. Now, I don't know what the fuck they're going to do. I guess, I don't know. Car France Pantoja, sure. I mean, Tyra's got a fight booked against, is it Royval? I'm pretty sure it's Royval.
Yes,
I could be wrong. Yeah. That's going to be sick. That's the real number one contender fight. So I guess it'll be if that like goes to decision, then it'll be Cara France. But if somebody like if Tyra gets like a first round sub of Royval, he could probably jump him off.
I'm okay with the Cara France Albazi rematch because I think Cara France got fucked in that fight. I thought that fight was so close. I'm okay with them running it back and having to fight each other again. I'm really okay with that. It sounds ludicrous, but I'm okay with it.
Moreno hasn't fought in fucking ever. You could maybe run that one back too, even though it wasn't a close fight.
True,
but it kind of makes sense.
Or Albazi Moreno is not terrible.
Yeah, well, that fight was booked, and I think that's the one that Albazi pulled out of. So they'll probably reschedule that one. Actually, realistically, they'll probably rebook that one. But I mean, we can keep it pushing. I mean, like I said, sucked as a better, but I mean, Kai Car France. I mean, that was an epic knockout.
Yeah, it fucking. I was crying in my bowl of cereal for sure, but Yes, epic knockout. We can keep it pushing though because,
Yeah.
bro, I'm dying on a hill right here. If you want to introduce it, feel free. I'm dying on a goddamn hill.
Yeah, man, we got Mateusz Gamrot, ranked 5, taking on Dan Hooker, ranked 11. Gamrot finished at minus 410. We had him at minus 360 on a parlay, and then we had Gamrot by decision minus 160 parlay with Rozenstruik by KO on a two-leg, method of victory prop parlay. And this ends up being fight of the night. It was a banger, and it was very close. I don't have as spicy of a take as Harrison, but I did score this fight for Gamrot, so we're going to go round by round here. We got a split decision. Harrison's ready to die on the hill, Hamburger Hill over here. I'll turn the floor over to you, man. How'd you see round one?
Man, so I thought round one, close round, right? However, for the first 3 minutes and 30 seconds, not close. Gamrot looks fan-fucking-tastic. Somehow Hooker is a fucking soldier. And for the last 60 seconds of the round, wins out, looks tremendous in the last 60 seconds, is like putting good damage on Gamrot. I just have a problem with giving a guy the round for winning 20% versus losing 80% and not like knocking Gamrot down, not being like just.
I'll say this: he wobbled him pretty bad. Not
a knockdown
worst,
though.
Down, but like a clear
because
wobble.
I think yes, but terminology is important here because I think a knockdown is stealable on the round. I think the wobble is a Gamrot round.
I scored it the same way as you, so like I'm not disagreeing with you, but I just you know what it reminds me of is like in the NFL they have what QB hits, QB hurries,
Pressures,
QB sacks, and pressure. Yeah, there's like pressures, hurries, hits. It's like broken down into all these subcategories that pass rushers agents use to get them paid.
Yes,
but
100%, yes.
But so this to me reminds me of that. Like the UFC, honestly, and maybe this is kind of, I don't know, maybe I have to find a different terminology to use because the word wobble sounds pretty weird, but like that's almost like a stat, right? Like I think like wobble is like a real thing that happens in fights. Almost like a QB hurry as opposed to a sack. Like it affects the play. But it's not a full blown sack. Like a knockdown would be a sack. A wobble would be like a QB hurry or a QB hit. But yeah, no, I mean, short story long, I see it the same way you did. And another important thing to factor in, because it wasn't just Gamrot wrestling. Gamrot cut Dan Hooker. So Gamrot had the damage as well. So it's like even so you have the wobble and the cut is almost like a wash. That like negates each other. And then that leaves you with Gamrot's grappling as the separating, like delineating factor as to why me and you gave Gamrot the round.
Right. Fully agree. And then you keep pushing around too. I thought this was another Gamrot round. And albeit not quite as close.
Agree. See, I thought round 2 was less close than round 1 because it was kind of a similar round in the fact that Gamrot a lot of success with the grappling, and then Dan Hooker's eventually able to make his way up to his feet and get some damage off. That's how I have it worded in my notes. Got some damage off. Like I said, round 1 was the wobble, hurt him bad. I don't agree with it, but I see how you arrive at scoring that round for Hooker. Scoring round 2 for Hooker, I don't love because while he did have some success towards the end of the round on the feet, there wasn't a big moment to like steal back the like previous 3 minutes.
So, oddly enough, man, every judge agrees. They all score round 2 to Gamrot.
Okay,
and then to even paint a better picture, I thought 3 was pretty clear as well. They all scored it to Hooker, which I did as well.
Me too. I thought 3 was Hooker's best round.
So it all came down to round 1, where 2 judges scored at Hooker, 1 judge scored at Gamrot. So obviously we get Hooker by split decision here. Bro, I fully disagree with that. I think for 2 judges to give Hooker that round, that feels very, very home cooked.
Yeah, because like I said, if Gamrot didn't get that cut, then I could see the damage argument. But Gamrot got his own damage off. Like I think
and
that's a
didn't
huge
get dropped.
part.
Like if we're going off visible in quotes damage, not getting dropped and cutting a guy, very different levels of damage.
Yes, And then you factor in like the time of round, like
And yeah, and
Gamrot
also
won like
Gamrot
3.5
won.
minutes of the round.
Right, probably 30 seconds in limbo and 60 seconds to Hooker. So it's like that's probably a Gamrot round. Like I struggled to give that round to Hooker, and I like Hooker, and we had no money on it at this point because it was all lost. So I was literally was cheering for Hooker, but like thought that was a Gamrot round.
Agreed. Now, I've been the take I've been seeing on X was that like Gamrot's edged out so many close, like weird split decisions that this was like the MMA gods,
Yeah.
like balancing the scale.
No, I fully agree.
Which
And like
I don't hate that take, honestly.
And to make it worse, in the press conference, he was saying like, "Oh, I'm going to finish this fight," blah blah blah. Like I have surprises to this guy, and Dan Hooker like even called it, which was hilarious to me in the Thursday press conference. He was like, "Yeah, his surprise is that he has no surprise. He's going to wrestle. It's the oldest trick in the book. This idiot." And like, and like Gamrot said nothing, and that's exactly what happened. And I was like, God damn it, Gamrot! Like he's so one dimensional in his mindset, game plans, and fight style.
I'll say this is the best his striking's looked. He struck with Dan Hooker. He landed some big right hands. He cut Dan Hooker on the feet.
I agree, but he, based on my interpretation of Gamrot's skills, should be able to beat Dan Hooker like 9 out of 10 times. So for him to fumble this fight out just shows me that like he's very predictable. Like he only fights one style.
Well, here's my takeaway. Now, Gamrot's not the easiest guy to cheer for, but in lightweight, I find myself rooting for anybody that's not in the good old boys club to like crack the top 5 and like because it's Gagey, it's Poirier, it's Oliveira, it's Islam, it's I guess somehow still Michael Chandler, and somehow I guess Conor McGregor. And I don't even have Conor McGregor in my personal ranking.
You could argue Dariush is there with them because he's old as fuck.
The good old boys club, right? Like yeah, you can't sit with us.
Yeah, but like Fiziev, Sarukian, Gamrot, these guys that are just as good or better can't get a fucking shot because these old heads.
And so even though Gamrot's like a hard guy to cheer for and he's not the most exciting fighter, I did like kind of want to see him win this just to be kind of undeniable. You know what I'm saying? Like just to like force the hand.
I like Hooker winning because he's so down to fight anyone. He's always fun to watch. He beats a top 5 guy. I thought this was a winner is good for the UFC no matter what type fight. I'll be honest. Like I thought matchmaking wise,
Hooker win's probably better for the UFC.
Right.
For being honest.
Like for the UFC, probably Hooker better. But like as a casual fan or even as a hardcore fan, either one of these guys is awesome to have win. Gamrot's more deserving. Hooker's more fun. So I'm okay in either situation here. But like as a guy that had money on Gamrot and like then wasn't even like scoring the fight because my money was lost already before that. So it was, no money on Gamrot at that point and scoring it for Gamrot. This feels fucking bad. Bad. And like the fight before this put me on notice that like, oh, we're scoring it for homeboys. In my opinion, because the good old boys club, because of the way lightweight's log jammed, Dan Hooker probably gets the number 6 ranking. Probably has to fight backwards, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that'll be super interesting how they match make Hooker. Like I don't even have a prediction for you. Hooker Patty would be pretty fucking sick, honestly.
I love it. I fucking love it. I fucking love it. That's so sick.
And then like power rankings wise, I moved Gamrot down to 10 and then I have Hooker at 11 as a guy who scored the fight for Gamrot. And then I have both of them up Patty at 12 right there. And I have them all ahead of Michael Chandler.
Patty Hooker's so good, D-Mac. That's such... You need to write that shit into not Joe Silva. Fuck, he's been retired for years. But yeah, Mick Maynard, Sean Shelby. You get the idea.
Yeah. And then, but I mean, we got some like... That log jam's going to eventually get shook up because we got what? We got St. Denis Moicano booked. We got... Everybody above him is not booked, unfortunately.
Bro,
you know what I think they need to do? They need to run back Fiziev Gamrot because that's the fight that Fiziev hurt his knee in. They need to just run that back.
I agree, but it's just so convenient that all the fights that we would book are going to be outside the boys' club, and the boys' club remains the boys' club, and no one gets to fight them, or they don't have to fight anyone else but each other.
Well, I think if Moicano beats St. Denis, he's going to get a crack at the boys' club, personally. St. Denis got his shot at the boys' club with the Poirier fight and shit the bed. Yeah, you're right, but we got the killers lurking in the back. We got the Joel Alvarez's, the Sel Hubers, the Hoofies, Gene Silva if he chooses to fight at lightweight. You got the Lions lurking there.
Right, like,
Outside
and are
the
we
top
just gonna make
15.
them kill themselves while we wait for Dustin Poirier to age out into dust? Like, I hate what lightweight is. I hate the
Yeah.
marketability that the UFC is taking with it. Man, with
Yeah,
that
we can
said,
keep it pushing.
yeah, perfect. I say we keep it pushing because this is the most goddamn egregious robbery of a fucking scorecard I've ever seen in my whole fucking life. I will die on every hill
I'm gonna
that you
grab a
build
drink.
on
I'm
this
gonna grab a
planet.
drink.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll introduce it. We got Tai Tuivasa taking on number 10, taking on Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Fight start. Rozenstruik minus 235, Tuivasa plus 190. According to ESPN Bet, if you're going on Caesars, we got plus 200, minus 240, so about the same shit. Yeah, we'll get into the scoring, but for our picks and breakdowns of this fight, nice silver bullets, fighting off the werewolves. For our picks and breakdowns of this fight, it was pretty much that Tuivasa is going out on a shield at all times. He's not going to shoot a takedown. Rozenstruik's a more technical striker, so he's going to outstrike him, probably get a KO, TKO. I bet Rozenstruik KO, TKO.
So did I. Yep.
And honestly, we placed the bets before I heard Rozenstruik in the presser. And in the presser, I got very alarmed whenever they asked him and Tuivasa the same question, which was, can we expect this fight to end before 15 minutes? And Tuivasa said, fuck yeah, we're heavyweights, of course. And Rozenstruik said, I have a game plan. If the game plan determines that I win the fight before... Like, he answered it, like, real fucking, like, we'll see.
Honestly.
Yeah, like, super honest. And I was like, I don't like that answer. Like, it sounds like, you're technically better.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. As soon as I heard that, and we'd already placed the bet, so it was like, well, I'm not even going to say anything to Dominic. Like, fuck, I'm not going to jinx it.
No, I feel it.
Yeah, it looked just like that. In round 3 especially, where Rozenstruik took zero risks, knew he was ahead, just tried to control the fight. I thought that was the only round that was up in the air. I still scored it for him. Thought that could have been a Tuivasa round. I have no problem with that. But I thought the first 2 rounds, not even close, they were Rozenstruik rounds. Tuivasa landed 11 significant strikes the first 10 minutes of the fight. So I don't know how you score either round to him. Like, make the case if you can.
Well, I'd make even less of a case than you. I don't have the word close in my notes. Like, I thought it was 3 rounds to Rozenstruik, like, easy. I don't have the word close in my notes. I don't have the word coin flip in my notes. I don't have the word banger in my notes. I don't have any of the little words that I give myself to kind of, like, give a little caveat as to, like, I scored it this way, but maybe you – I have it clear cut, like, Rozenstruik 30-27 all day, every day, like, I have zero argument to make for any round for Tuivasa, like, literally.
Only round I was making any argument for Tuivasa was round 3 because he actually opened up and was throwing punches and, like, still lost significant strike numbers but was much closer and actually had volume. Both guys did. Whereas Rozenstruik had volume all 3 rounds. And then, bro,
Yes.
Check this out. I score at 30-27 Rozenstruik. You do as well. One judge, David Letheby, the Vegas judge, does as well. Charlie Keach, that bullshit Australian I told you about earlier. Rounds 2 and 3 to Rozenstruik, 1 to Tuivasa. How would you give Tuivasa 1 and not 3? 3's Tuivasa's only competitive round of the fight. 1 and 2 aren't close. 3 is at least semi-competitive.
Yeah. You won't really hear me pushing back on that take.
And then as far as Howie Booth, the other Australian judge, that goes 30-27 Tuivasa, at least the logic's solid. If you score 1 and 2 for him, you're sure as fuck scoring 3 for him. And vice versa, if you're scoring 2 and 3 for him, you're sure as fuck scoring 1 for him. Like, at least whatever he was liking, which was, I guess, getting punched in the face and not throwing punches, that wins rounds, apparently, for Howie Booth. You know what? He actually got pulled off of the card after this.
Yanked, which is sick. I love the Australia Commission. Like, that's badass. Like, I respect that. I guess they hired this guy to begin with, so I guess there's that juxtaposition. But, like, that being said, they handled it really well. Like, I think in Vegas we've seen guys been allowed to keep going. But, yeah, man, I mean, 30-27 tied to Tuivasa. People are saying, and even the official verdict account tweeted out, that may be the worst scorecard in the history of, like, since the verdict has, like, existed.
It might be. Eshe.
Yeah, I mean that guy just like apparently loves the flavor of Tuivasa's nutsack. I just yeah, man, that was weird. That was really weird. I'm glad the right man won though. Like I guess that's what like all's well that ends well. I guess if you just want to like cope and say that, but
That
like
guy should never have a job again.
give it to me instead. I agree.
He just
No,
can't
you know
judge a
what?
fight at all. There's no merit in that scorecard.
I also saw a funny meme after this saying, "Congratulations, Australia, you have a Tony Ferguson."
Yeah,
That's 5 L's in a row.
holy fuck, Ty, just hang the shit up, dog. Just
L's in
West,
a
drink,
row.
drink West. All right, we fucking get it. Just go make beer. God damn it.
Beer, make YouTube videos. I'm honestly with you because it's like if your heart ain't in it, that's the thing though. I'll say, as the guy who on our betting breakdown said that like
He
Tai
fought like he
Tuivasa
had
a bona
heart.
fide,
I was
he still
pissed.
gave a shit.
I was
Like
pissed.
he fought like he still gave a shit. Like I'll say he didn't fight like a guy who like was like Orlovsky's last fight. We're like, yeah, this guy's mailing it in and cashing a check. Tai Tuivasa like took risk, like let his nuts hang, like you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't fight like he was kind of one foot in the grave. So I'll give him that.
Herbert Burns fought like he was mailing it in, which we called for sure. That's the
Oh,
one fight on
so
this
obvious.
card that like I'm gonna puff my fucking chest out. But
Kanan and Son Kanan.
hey. But with that being said, man, I ate a bunch of dicks on this main card. Almost ate dicks on this fight just because of fucking. Like, if Izzy had won, I would have actually cashed a 3-legger. That sucks. But this almost cost me that 3-legger just based on Rozenstruik almost getting robbed.
Yeah, and like what I was shocked to find out whenever I was looking, because I was trying to think, who do I want to see Rozenstruik fight next? And I was doing my power rankings and
He's
stuff.
fought like everybody.
You don't know who he's never fought and who I literally would have bet that he has fought? Derek Lewis. He's never fought Derek Lewis. I don't know how. That has to be made.
That's the
fight night main event, fucking, Ohio or wherever they are, St. Louis or wherever. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be like an arena fight night main event. I can't believe they never fought. Like I was actually shocked. I was Santa Claus. I read my list and checked it twice. I was like, "There's no way they haven't fought," but they haven't. That's the only thing that makes sense.
That's a great fight.
As far as power rankings, then we can keep it moving. I moved Rozenstruik up to 11, right behind Derek Lewis. Another reason why I want to see that fight be made. I jumped him over McParkin because I think stylistically, like, good luck if you're trying to outbox Rozenstruik, McParkin.
Yep.
And then Tuivasa, man, I dropped him down to 17 behind.
Did you take into account the bias judging as well in that? Because like, I'm sorry on Tuivasa, I put him at 20.
So at 20, I have Gaziv.
Yeah.
You could drop him under Gaziv. I don't know. That's kind of like who cares. So I go Tuivasa, Romanov, Denise, Gaziv. As Chael would say, interchangeable mediocrities, right?
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Like I have that. I have that same conglomeration of 4 in a slightly different order. So same.
Yeah,
thing.
but like, who cares? Right?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Man, we got to keep it pushing though. Talking about who cares. There's a guy that we need to care a lot about, man, and his name is Carlos Prates.
God damn it! The fucking Terminator shows up again.
The anti-fraud check. We both had a Li Jingliang sprinkle. Hey, and I gotta say, so Li Jingliang finishes at plus 275. We had him at plus 290, so other people were betting him as well. Taking on Carlos Prates, minus 345 welterweight. I gotta say, in round one, and obviously I scored for Prates, but I gotta say, in round one, I was like, we don't look too stupid here. Like, it was closer than a 4-1. It was closer than 4-1. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was I won't say a close round, but a competitive round. Like, it wasn't a one-sided ass whooping.
The first round looked like a plus 140 and a minus 170. Like, it looked like a solid fight where I was like, okay, Prates is winning, but Jingliang has a path to victory. Like, is a solid fighter, can handle this level of fight. And then in round 2, he started to get broken slowly, and it was brutal to watch because like Jingliang never been KO'd TKO'd, so he's got like a salty fucking chin. Well, when your salty chin gets tested 6 different times, it usually crumbles.
Bro, Josh Kohlebauer needs to watch this fight
Yeah, what
Rewatch
in
this
the
fight.
motherfuck? We're going to get to
Rewatch
that.
this
I'm going to
fight.
slaughter that poor idiot Cullabao.
Rewatch this fight again. Because Prates dropped Jingliang about 9 million times
And just
never
kept
once
standing him
rushed, just
up.
kept forcing him to stand up. And would just drop his ass again.
It was like torturously disgusting, in fact.
Yeah, it was tough to watch. I felt bad for
He only got
for my
credited
boy.
with 2 knockdowns, but there were probably 5 shots, and I was like, oh, these are fight-ending shots. Like that.
I think it's safe to say Li Jingliang is every UFC fan's favorite Chinaman.
Yeah. Oh, Kenneth was
Like,
cheering for him, and that should tell you a lot.
Yeah, I know. Like everybody, I mean, who likes China? Let's be real. But like Li Jingliang is, he's a homie. He passes the like, do I want to have a beard?
He
with this
passes
guy
the
vibe.
American smell test. Like, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you can hang out with America. I said that to Kenny. I was actually like, oh, this guy's like an American bro. Like, you actually like him. He was like, yeah, it sounds like a real double agent to me. Like, he was really on the vibe.
He was conflicted.
Yeah.
But no, I feel it. Bro, Prates just
the shark.
Masterclass.
And to be fair, what have we said? And we should have taken our own advice from past podcasts. What do we always say? We need a Prates feeding. We're clearly high on him. Why would we ride against him? We looked at past history and not relevant, like right now history. I think we rode too much on early record.
Like, one is kind of how I viewed this fight, and I like Billy Walters' logic. I thought it was like closer than 4-1. And for the podcast every week we pick a dog. If we didn't have that dog,
I liked the Walter Walker pick in hindsight.
Oh, Mr. Hindsight, get the fuck out of here! I was trying to get us to bet that, but hey, it's okay. We ride together, die together. Bad boys for life.
Fuck.
But Beefy Boys for life.
I'm so cold.
But Prates, man, looking like the real deal. Short story long. I moved him up to 20 in my power rankings, and I could go higher. Push come to shove. Here's my only reason.
I'm with you.
Here's my only reason. We still have it, and I said that I got it. I forgot who the account was, but I was talking about this on X with another MMA account. How the only thing kind of making me kind of like hold my horses with Carlos Prates is he's yet to in the UFC. He's yet to beat like a real wrestler, like a guy that can really wrestle.
He gives me strong Poton vibes. Like if he gets paired against a real wrestler, I will not like feel good about him. But everyone else, I think I do feel good about.
Yes, agreed. And then the guy I was talking with on X with, he made the point that, like, well, to your point, welterweight doesn't have a lot of actual wrestlers, especially ranked above him. And I got
Sean Brady's about the only one that's really detrimental.
And that's what he said. So, name that I'll throw out there that would be who I want to see next. Now, this guy's booked. There's 2 guys. They're both booked, which sucks for the point I'm about to make. But I think could maybe Renat Fakhretdinov.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I think he beats Fakhretdinov. Fraud check Fakhretdinov.
But I'm just saying, like, I would like to see that box checked. Also, RDA, also booked, but like RDA.
I like both.
That would get him on a main card, but they're both booked. That's what sucks. And then you got Colby and Sean Brady's booked. He's not going to get the Colby fight, so he's going to be getting strikers. I can see him. You know who just pulled somebody?
Why wouldn't Luke or Magny work?
Chris Curtis just pulled out of the Kevin Holland fight. I could see Prates stepping in there, fighting Holland at 85. I could see it happening.
But Prates is welterweight, right?
Prates is welterweight, but I'm saying it's like a quick turnaround. Earn some points with the company, rip a cig, and go fight Kevin Holland. I'm not saying it's a calculated career move, but Carlos Prates doesn't strike me as a calculated career move kind of guy.
I could see him trying to get Luke or Magny.
Me too. I want to say Magny's booked. I could be wrong. Luke did just have the Nick Diaz fight fall apart, so I imagine he's trying to get in there soon. But that's a feeding if I've ever seen one.
It's perfect if you're Prates. Like, that's the fight you should be going for. It's a big name. It's a style you murk.
You know what might be fun? Throwing it out there. Randy Brown. Long, can match the length. I'm not saying he beats Prates, but that would be kind of sick.
I fully agree on skill and like merit. That fight should be made, but I think if I'm Prates, I'm pushing for Luque.
What I'm saying, we're saying the same caliber of guy. Like Prates is ready. Like you beat Jingliang, you're getting a like 13-18 guy. Like
Yes.
the next guy may not be ranked, but it'll be right on the cusp. Like a Randy Brown, a Fakardinov,
Even
maybe
Easy
you get,
DS.
maybe you get
Even
a
Easy
Luque.
DS.
Yeah, even that. Oh God, I would not like that for Easy
Ooh,
DS. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Prates is a problem for a lot of guys.
you know who would be perfect, but also just got booked, and I forget against two. Actually, no, it's against Wonder Boy. Joaquin Buckley would have been a good one, but he's booked against Wonder Boy, which that's interesting in and of itself. But
Super interesting. I said we keep it pushing and wrap up this main event.
yeah. No, for sure, man. That wraps Prate's performance of the night bonus. Gonna get a lot of SIGs with that 50K. Oh, I'll end it with this fucking hang this sports take in the Louvre. Big smoking athlete walking earth right now. Carlos Prates. He's a real throwback. He's a real throwback to the old guys smoking, ripping dots on the end of an NFL bench, kickers hitting field goals with cigs in their mouth. Best in 2024, best cig smoking athlete any sport on earth. I'm staking my name on that sports take. But yeah, that wraps it up. Hit subscribe. We drop betting videos every week, even though sorry if you watched last week's. We're on X at Beefy Breakdown, on Instagram, Beefy Boys Breakdown. We got a Facebook page for the Boomers, Beefy Boys Breakdown. Check us out, engage with us. We'll definitely get back to you, and we'll be back to break down these prelims shortly because we're the only show out there going over every single fight on every single card and giving you free betting picks. Hit subscribe. It's the move.